Yeah, let's go. We got a new Unity stream. Um, shit. There you go, I fixed it. I had to pause that. I'm not recording the computer sound, just my microphone. Um, all right. So we got the wigglies. I gotta get rid of the wigglies, and I got rid of the spinnies. I think it's just the jiggly wigglies. I think. I think the fixed update should fix that. Maybe. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. That was okay. When you do it like back and forth, whip my hair back and forth, whip my hair back. Kind of like that. Jiggle, jiggle, wiggle. I was gonna try to fix that date, just shits and giggles, cause I like the settings. Cinema Machine has currently for this particular camera setup, and I don't want to start changing a bunch of settings if I don't have to, because this could be a weird exception, and it could cause more problems if I mess with those settings later down the line. Um, but if fixed update don't work, uh, well, caution to the wind, and I'm gonna do it anyways. Alright, so which one is it? So I'm sure it's that one. Loading! More loading! Oh my god. Yeah, I'm swearing off YouTube for a while. I'm gonna have an addiction to it. I can't stop watching videos, so I'm not allowed to watch it anymore. I can still stream. I gotta be careful though, because that's where I get all my news. So I just change this to fixed update. Which I think fixed update is just are you serious right now? Is this broken again? God damn it. Ah, there it goes. I was ready to be pissed off. Alright, save that. See if that fixes it. I like my new setup here with the project and the scene in the side, and the game and scene view, duplicates from top to bottom, Spectre on the side. Looks very nice. I like it. So I guess just hit play and see what happens. I remember fixed update smoothing out some movement related code in the past. That's a little better. Actually, I'd say that's a lot better, actually. It's not perfect. There's still some jitter there, but it's not like nowhere near as bad as it was. Like I could live with that. Like I could figure like I could move on from this and not even worry about it, which is exactly what I'm gonna do, because that's significantly better. And you only notice it like very subtly. And if this had better graphics and not programmers graphics, it'd be even less noticeable, I believe. Plus you'd have animations and stuff, which should probably break up break up the. Oof, that was pretty rough though, right there. I don't know what that was all about. Trying to recreate what I just did there. And like we've seen in the last video, to go and look at the character from scene view, it don't even jiggle. I think it's like a camera perspective illusion and like a rendering thing, because it looks smooth as butter on the scene view. It's a little jiggly up here, but not as bad as what it was. I think the fixed update did something. It's not perfect, but it's good enough for this. So I'm just going to move on from that. I forgot to take notes, because now I don't remember if there was any other problems. So we got the facing done. So now we just need gravity, ground check, jump, crouch. I like my stats system that I made. That works perfectly fine. I don't need to remake it, but I'm thinking about just making a new one that's a lot simpler. Mine was super complex. It had a lot of math formulas. Because like damage types and resistances and stuff. I might make something a little bit more simpler and like more public, like the not the header, the declaration, variable declaration. I don't know what that's called. I don't know what this is called. Fuck. ID, no, that's not it. Label, no. Fuck. Mode, we'll just go with mode. Public mode. Stats. Because everything was, in my previous stat system, was private, but you could access it using a setter or getter. And that's how the formulas were calculated. And this also allowed you to combine damages with the stats. So if you could do like 20 fire damage, and it would hit the health stat. It would do all the calculations for resistances and stuff. I also learned about the on awake, because that you have to run your on awake before your start, and for some reason that popped in my head out of nowhere because I remembered it somehow, and because wasn't working, because I had to run the starting stats, so like the startup stats, which is confusing because you have a start method. On awake has to set the system in place with all the formulas, and then your start function can run after that. Let's see. Guess yeah, we just need to combine stuff now. This over here. I just need to think about this. We have the direction. We got the character model moving for like, which is like the type of animation, sort of. Not really. Shit. Hmm. Don't need the. I'm just gonna see if all the markers are back. I can't remember if they're gone or not. Alright, the markers are gone. I don't have to do that. Yeah, let's just see. just give it that. So I want to add test combiner, and I need to go to test axis. Down here, if enable camera equal true, let's see, public will enable camera. Look at eyes. That's confusing. With an enable camera is really confusing. Enable point. Input enable mouse. Enable mouse is awesome. Enable mouse. I think that works. Enable XY mouse. Mouse axis. The script is called test axis. Enable axis. I don't like using the double caps. But being limited to F for it. We'll just do mouse axis. So enables redundant. This is just formatting practice. It's important, otherwise you'll confuse yourself. Get your terminology sorted out. Also helps break up the monotony. Put axis and camera. What? All right, so then go to test script. This is separate from the vector, which is annoying because that means the The character controller is not going to notice this. That's what I hate about the character controller. It's extremely obtuse. All the math has to be put into the character controller. This was force physics based. I could just avoid that entirely. I'm beginning to think the character controller is a bit outdated. It's making things harder than easier. I'm just gonna leave this empty for now. Because I was thinking about taking, because this actually works. I was thinking about taking it and turning it into, well, I mean, it's already a vector. So we have to get rotation organized. And then take that and put it into text axis and then enable it, and then the test combiner can grab the vector from here and then put that into here and then take this if, and I don't even need any of this rotational math. I could just take this code here and the if, put it in here. So I'm going to try it. So if, put that there for now, and then take this, which is this moment, get axis dot axis vector. This rotation equal get transform dot this rotation plus transform equal get transform. How the hell does this work? Oh, because of this right here. So we get the vertical input. So this movement, which is vector 3, oh, well, he's just using times vector 3 forward. So I could probably just put it in directly times vector 3 forward. Maybe that would fix it. Because I could just, I already have the target angle, so just input yeah, so the vector 3 new direction would equal the vector of the other thing that works. So I don't think I need any of that math, because the ball point in front of the camera is doing that for me. And I refuse to do math unless I know what I'm doing. Because I've done physics. And in order for me to do Unity math, I had to break down the functions and like everything. I had to break it all down so I know. Like I can do regular math, but regular math does not look the same as Unity math because they're using different terms, except like atan 2, rad 2 degrees. That I recognize, but the way you write it in Unity is not the same way you would write it out on paper like you would for a math class. Also, that just feels like brute force math attack. It's not, it doesn't seem very elegant. I don't really want to do that. Let's see. All right, so this rotation, this transform, get transform. Am I even using that? Doesn't look like it. Target angle, this movement. Yeah, that transformed. So this is doing the rotation, which I don't need. Because this this degree would throw the math off I already had, which is it rotating around the player, which it's already doing that. And that's all this line is for. And again, it's already rotating. I don't need that. I don't need that. I just need this right here, I think. Which is weird, because where's targeting? Because I still need the movement. So I need to add the axis and the movement together into a new vector 3 times 4. Then add that in there. So I need to get axis. I don't need this crap. So this is all I need right here. Now, I only need the first one. Okay, so we got that. And I think, oops, rotational functions. Oh, this is cool. This is really helpful and insightful. Because I was getting really confused how rotations work, and this helped out a lot. I made a little rotational tool where I think it was the arrow keys or WSAD. It was the arrow keys, and it can go up or down, and you can rotate it, and you can reset it, and it's wonderful. So then we need a character controller. I like target player. Target movement. I feel like, yeah, if it's public, I should make it target. And if it's private, I should make it this. Because it's private. Oh, I don't even need that. Get rid of this. I gotta get character controller right here. Just do that. Rid of this. Target angle would be whatever I put in here, which would be from the test script. Which means I have to turn this off. Save that. I guess I could just copy this. Here. Ow! Am I using smooth rotate? No, I'm not. Why is that there? It doesn't like me for some reason. If camera axis get rotation equal to by G, I have marker dot rotation 0. What is this complaining about? Oh, it says we're here. Test combine, test move. So not this one. That was confusing. Here and here is what was confusing. I thought I was complaining about these ones. I should have looked at the green thing down there. Axis vector. Vector. Oh, it's just glitched because I didn't type it. Vector 3 camera. That needs to stay the same. Save. And then we'll just change this to camera vector. If this works, my mind will be blown. It is a lot of jumping back and forth, but it makes it easier because I don't have to keep retyping the same shit over and over. Like when I go to make a character, let's say like an enemy, so we'll say most enemies are humanoid. They walk on two legs just like the player. But then I make a new enemy, and let's say he's like a Naga. He don't have human legs. Well, this could potentially be helpful because I have access to all the basic components, all the basic axes, and I could take them and I could modify them different. It doesn't have to be the same every time. I could take axis vector right here, and I can like change it to better suit a different character with a different movement, or maybe it has a different head or something. I don't know. I do need to standardize it though, because currently it's this one, right? The camera axis only works for the player. So I think that's fine because it says camera. I can just leave that there. Mouse axis and input axis also kind of work for the player only as well because it's their input values. But I still need it in there because not every player is going to be a humanoid either. Hopefully. I might make two separate ones. I might make one of these for players only and another one for enemies, which would have a lot more in there than players. Enemies get crazy complex after a certain amount. So I think this one would just be for players for now. So I don't need this anymore. This is just a test script. I technically don't need this anymore. I am going to take this, put this here, just so I remember how to go back and fix it if I need to, but I could get rid of all of this. Don't need this. This is my test script. I just write stuff in here to test things. And when I'm done, it's like when I've finished testing something, it's usually empty. I also put notes in there, very handy. So now I need to combine this movement and oops. So this movement, vector 3, this rotation. I can't spell. This look, this direction, this rotation. This camera sounds way too specific. I'll just use this rotation for now. So I already have the variable get axis, so I could go this rotation equal get axis dot camera vector, which is really handy because the get axis or the test axis script is on the player, and the variable get axis can get all the things from that script as just a placeholder, and I can take and assign the values from here if they're enabled. I can assign the values from here to other variables and other scripts. So like I got axis vector from here, which is this script. Also, and all these are attached to the player. We'll go here, and we'll go here, and you can tell because it has the same variable name from the other script. don't think I need raw vectors. I don't know what that is, so I'm just gonna got done confused myself, so I'm just gonna jot that out. So I'm hoping this just magically works. If I just type in because this movement is not in play anywhere in this, like other than just touching the keyboard. I don't think it's gonna add that. I could just add it in the like I could plus it maybe. I'll try plussing it. Target angle would be this rotation. I had to, my brain turned off. Wait, that's a quaternion. I just should do Y, right? Yeah, cam vector dot Y, which is I is marked up position dot Y anyways. Which I could just make this a float. I guess I don't even need to make it a vector. Because it's only one value anyway. Because it's 0, 0. Um, I'm gonna jot this out and make a float. We'll call it camera vector, but instead it's gonna be a float. I'm gonna put it here. I like to separate all my variables. Yeah, pools, float, vector. Private, and it goes below serialized, because serialized I can see it, and any of the private ones go down here. Serialized goes above, and then public goes at the very top. That's how I do it. You can do it any which way you want. So there's a bit of a danger zone here, is if I make this a float, you can put it anywhere, and I could mess it up. Whereas if it's a camera vector, it could only ever be Y, because if it's X or Z, you have no value. So in order for this to have a value, it has to be Y, which is kind of cool, because it's like you can't mess it up. Or if you do, nothing happens. Whereas mine, you could totally mess it up. Like if this goes in the wrong, if this goes in the X or Z, bad things are going to happen. Like that's glitch town. But I feel like the float makes more sense because the vector's overkill. So we just change this rotation to a float. And that will fix the error below. Here. Character controller. I organize it by color too. So I go blue publics, blue privates. This is more blue than the green. This rotation, I could put it in either of these, but I'm not going to do that because that'd be horrible. And then it has to be times. Um, I need to add the rotation here, which might be important. I think this math ATAN 2 is like doing some crazy shit because that's just a single float and it's doing more things than a vector. It feels like this line of code is doing some crazy shit. Let me look at math radians 2 degrees. So I'll put 1 radians are equal to 57.29 degrees. Float degree equal rad 1. So you get it, so like it preserves the float number while also giving you a degree value. That's pretty neat. But that's also weird because I'm going to be inputting. If I put my math in, it's going to input it automatically as a degree. So I'd be turning I'd be inputting, it'd be like inputting this 57 into the rad and then see what I mean? I could write out math. I could do some math that would give me a camera controller. But these functions are so confusing. And that's read only, so it doesn't do anything. It just gives you a number. It doesn't really, it just gives you a value. It doesn't apply anything. Just here's a number. Do something with it. So on its own, it doesn't do it. Heartburn, stop. Returns the angle and radius. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it doesn't really seem useful right now. I don't know, we'll just, I need to add fucking movement somehow. I think I have to put this in here. I don't know. Fuck it, we'll try it. So I'll take this, I'll put this here. And this movement, alright, that works. Get rid of this. Plus this rotation. And we're skipping all of that. I guess I'll take this. I don't know why I would need that, but I'm going to take it. It's already rotating. No, it's not. I don't think it is, actually. And we'll put target angle. Since we have this rotation already, just do target angle again. New direction normalized. Wait. I think I'm ready to test this. I should probably put that back just so I don't have the errors. Bar axis. Get axis dot which would be a float. I don't think I need that either. Just get rid of it because it's already down here. And that's already a Y. This movement dot Y, this movement density. This movement equal get axis dot that fixes that. I mean, it probably well doesn't fix it, but at least it makes sense on paper. Save. All right, so I gotta make sure the old script is turned off. So we need test axis, test combiner, and my brain just turned off. What is test transform? I have no clue what that is, but it freaks me out. Whoa. I don't know what this is for, but it's crazy. I must have made this when I was tired, because this is nuts. Looks cool, though. I don't need that. Actually, I'm going to remove that. Test movement, test script. I'll leave that on there. It doesn't do anything. Move speed 1. Test axis. Would need these set. Player eyes. Because that's gone now. I have to reset that. And then enable input and camera, because we don't want mouse right now. So just input those. Camera vectors public, but they'll be reset by the look at target, I believe. Or the, no, I think it's the eyes target. I'd get a raw value from look at, and then we get the true value from the eyes, I think. I forget. It's one of those ways. Now that that's set, I think I could hit play and test. I'm scared. Every time I've done, and I want to, like, it's time to test, I get scared every time. It's like something's gonna go wrong, or worse, nothing happens. All right, so we could turn. The jitter's back, but I think that's because I had to put fixed update on the other script. So I think fixed update made a huge difference. So now I gotta test moving forward. I'm scared. It doesn't work. I'm facing the right direction, but it don't work. Also, left goes right for some reason. Let's go back to test combiner. I'm just gonna keep it simple. I'm just gonna get rid of all this crap. Just gonna get rid of all this. I need the fucking input. Like, I need the rotation and the movement at the same time. Like, how do you do that? Like, why is this so obtuse? I can't, because the character controller over here is like, you can only put in one thing. Well, what am I supposed to do? If I times two vectors together, I don't think that works. I could try it. That'd be wonderful if that worked. Just put two vectors in there. Maybe do a double parentheses. Can I do that? Is that legal? Like algebra. This player. So we'll do this movement in parentheses times this rotation times speed. Can I do that? Why does it have the white dots down here? Parentheses can be removed. Oh, because it's telling me like that doesn't do anything? Is that what it's saying? I don't think that's gonna work. It's just weird. Why would that work? It makes no sense. How does timesing the movement and the rotation to the movement speed make any sense? Because these are just gonna like interfere with each other. Oh, I hate this shit. It's so obtuse. Because this still seems really hacky. Because the ATM2, it feels like a hack. Because it's like a float that preserves two values, but it also produces a radius or a degree that you can add to another thing. This is so frickin' janky. Hmm. Maybe I can just bypass it. I'll try a bypass. Um, so I just like, I'll do this code right here, but we'll just get rid of this. So basically nothing's happening. And I'll bring this back. And then we'll put the target angle in there, but then we'll also put plus uh, uh, this rotation. And then the new direction will be target angle, which is basically nothing. And then new direction, I should say nothing. New direction is just the X and Y. Why is there a Z though? I don't understand. It should be X. This literally should be X and then Y. There should be no Z. No, Y is up though. Fuck. God dang it. Well, I guess it does need to be Z. God dang it. I know something is wrong here. And I don't know what is wrong with this. But something is wrong. We'll say that. Minimize. God, character controllers are a fucking headache. I should have just went with physics. Rotation still works. Moving forward. Does not work at all. I mean, it worked slightly better than last time. What if I just like ignore all this and just put in this movement? Just see what happens. So I know there's something wrong with the movement. It's not properly like X and Y. Hey, I got a comment. You. Um, how long have I been streaming? 1 hour. Doesn't feel like it. It's like why does it look like that? Why is this still rotating? This shouldn't be rotating. Ah, there we go. I think I know why it's so janky. Is it because of um, the way I have the rotation for the camera set up? Every time this moves, the eye's target is one step behind and has to reset where the player is. And when that happens, the camera is like lagged out because the eye's target is trying to keep up with the player when it moves. Also, the axe doesn't seem to be working. It goes in like every direction except right, I think. That's forward, yeah, back, left. Yeah, it doesn't go right. That's weird. So let me go to project settings. Nope. I feel like it should be project settings. Yes, it is. Horizontal. Alt negative, alt positive. So AD. So it should be working. It's set up. Alt negative, alt positive, AD. Vertical, SW, up. Left, right. What the fuck is the problem, you dumb bitch? I have joystick, but that's not what I was using. I was using the key or mouse button. Oh, well, that's a problem. Why is the vertical X axis? They don't make any sense. They're both X. Shouldn't that be Y or Z? What? Yeah, in the input manager, they're both X. They don't make a lick of sense. Vertical is Y. So let me change this to Y. Close that out. Text axis. Yeah, we'll just save that. Don't need to change the code. I'll just hit play, see what happens. It might start flying in the air though, because Y is supposed to be up, I believe. I was kind of going right, but not really. I'm going to disable test access real quick. Ah, shit. I mean, to enable that, but then disable that. Yeah, that's nice and smooth. Yeah, the character controller is really asinine. But at least I got my math. I just need to figure out how to input the math. So that the character controller accepts it. I also need to change. I think the eyes target needs to be in script because every time it updates its position, it has a big old baby about it. Hmm. So that seems to be working just fine. Yeah, the movement. But the rotation, getting that to mix is a pain in the ass. Unless you're using physics, it's a lot easier. is instead of using a character controller, you just tell it to move forward and it moves. Whereas the character controller is like, no, math. What the hell? Windows, stop! You fucking retard. You're a fucking idiot. Oh my fucking goddamn Christ. Fucking stupid. Fucking garbage. It's just supposed to, like, snap. There we go. Alright. So, we have the movement X, Y. That's way too chunky. No, I don't want to save. Stop! See, I don't know how the character controller works. It doesn't tell me how it accepts these numbers. Like, when, at what point in the line of movement. So this line represents the process of input. So when you move X or Y, it goes into the character controller pipeline. At what point can I smoothly break this to add in the rotation? So I have this value. It is janky though, but that's easy to fix in code because I could just shoot a ray out from the player. That way, it always maintains the same position at like instantaneous fixed update speed. I don't have to worry about another object having to follow it. And the object thing was cooler because it's more visual. The ray is not as visual. You could make it visual, but I don't think it would look as good. I think like in terms of understanding things, having lasers pointing everywhere is confusing, whereas just having a floating object is like, what does that object do? What is this object? You know, they're just kind of floating. Versus, you know, a freaking giant line. If you have too many giant lines, it's like a tangled up mess. It's hard to decipher what's going on. Having a dedicated object makes it's just easier to understand. But I'm also used to that because that's how Halo 1 did things. They had a lot of invisible markers, which I thought was pretty clever. So you have like a muzzle flash is a sphere in front of the gun, and that's like its origin point. You got other stuff like grip points, so like where the hand goes on the gun. All of that was like invisible sphere markers. And the camera worked the same way too. You had your like JMO, JMA animations and stuff. This is the problem right here. Is literally right here, this cross section. When and how am I allowed to put in my rotations? Because the ATAN 2 is a custom rotation. It doesn't take existing vectors. It only takes like not a complete vector, just one, which I do have. It's infuriating. I don't know. I'm gonna just try that again, I guess. I don't know. Just do all of it, I guess. We'll make a new. I don't need to smooth rotate it. Fuck. Because even if I use this code, it's still gonna be like really janky. I could slow it down. I don't know. I'll just ignore my shit and I'll just input something else just to see how this works. Maybe I can glean some information from this. We'll just times FF rad 2 degree plus, I need a Y value. I could just get the position of the camera, but that's not helpful either. The Y of the player, that doesn't make sense either. I feel like that's redundant, but I'll do it. Let's take this. Just make a placeholder float. Again, doesn't explain this, but I made the assumption, both from reading it in the Unity documentation and also having it explained to me from the tutorial. So a reference variable is literally just an empty variable that a function or class or whatever's doing the thing that it's doing, creates some sort of number and it puts it inside. It's like a backup backpack that puts the number in and just store it there temporarily, I guess. It's like a net to catch a number. Is very weird. Just because it's not explained very well. Rotate. We'll just call this smooth rotation. I don't know what time it should be. One, I guess. This would be angle. This is literally just a tutorial code. I didn't write any of this. I am changing a few things, like this here. I'll leave this as Z, which makes no fucking sense to me, but we'll leave it as Z. I'll try Y next. I don't know why target angle would be here. This part makes no sense to me, because this is completely disconnected from the character controller. Like, this has nothing to do with the character controller. This part makes sense, because that goes into the character controller. So this is pretty much the entire tutorial code, for the most part. I hate this. Like, why is this part right here? This part, I want to get a red paint. This part here is so, I want to even get an arrow just because it frustrates the living hell out of me. Damn it. This part right here is stupid. It's dumb, poorly explained. XY input with, like vectors makes sense. Rotation vectors makes sense. All that makes sense. How you input a rotation and a vector at the same time makes no fucking sense. It's stupid. I hate it. Dumb. Because I could manually input this. I could put this in, manually input both of these at the same time, or use physics, a force engine or whatever, and wouldn't have a problem. The only thing I'd be missing is steps and slopes. I'd have to do that manually, whereas the character controller would be like, okay, now's the time to hop up because we're approaching an upgrade or a downgrade, or we're approaching steps, and it automatically calculates that math for you. But I could do that. I don't need a character controller to do that. I just wanted to learn how to do a character controller. But this part right here is so fucking mysterious. It's like the only math function. There's like two math functions I know that work for this spot right here, which is the atan to converting it to radians to degrees, and then the other tutorial, which was extra confusing because it was like constantly converting and adding vectors back and forth. It made no damn sense. Like, it worked, but when I finished it, it had some serious issues that were not explained. But again, these are old tutorials. Like, there doesn't appear to be any recent ones. I might have to find a newer tutorial. Also, I need a drink. This is stressful. All that. I gotta get some ice too. Yeah, I'm back. I'm gonna put some more stuff in here. Keep that red. Put a text. Fuck. And then get brush out. Plus times question mark double arrow. Like, I don't know. It's like the character controller stupid. Down here would be the character controller. I hate that. Would you really hate that net? Stop. Like, how do I confirm enter? Okay, thank God. Down here would be the character controller. Should choose text. Don't get arrow. Controller. Maybe make this a bit smaller. So, how do you combine these two things in the pipeline of character controller? That is so mysteriously, unnecessarily convoluted. I'm not even doing this because I need to do it. I'm literally just doing it because it pisses me off. I have serious problems. I could just move on, do the physics thing, calculate the fucking off step myself. I'd be done on it. I would be fucking done. I had it almost done. I had to jump, I had to crouch, I had the camera, and it worked. But I gotta do the character controller because I thought it would be faster, and I'm lazy, and I didn't want to do the math to do the steps because I'm lazy, and god damn it. Character controllers are stupid and I hate them. I mean, this would have been solved if the character controller just had a separate input for rotations, and then you just take two vectors, one for movement and one for rotation. Bam, problem solved. At least that makes sense to me. The problem is I have to build that part of the character controller myself. Like I have to actually program that part. But even if I did program it, I don't know how to add it in. There's like, when do you add it in? Where's the add? Where? I have a purple. To add, multiply. Not add. Where's the add to? Where's the fetch? Um, fuck. So I guess I'll just test it because that's the old code. That's how it was before, how it used to be. Um, guess just hit play. Also, I need to turn this off. Well, that's weird. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. If I put my mouse axis on. Actually, it makes sense that nothing's happening because I think I used its own Y, which isn't moving. Um, I could maybe put like a child object, like the eyes object, or just make a new one, put a child object, center it on the player, and have it look at the camera. The problem with that is I need the player to rotate, and as soon as the player rotates, the eyes object will also rotate, and that'll cause a glitchy. There'll be a glitchy springiness to it. It would work, but it would be awful. Kind of like how going backwards is all glitchy. Actually, going any direction except forwards kind of glitchy. I don't know what that's all about. The character controller feels so glitchy. Alright, well, plan B, I guess. Alright, well, not really plan B. I'm just messing with this to try and figure out how to... I don't know how to add my data. I got my data. I don't know how to add it. It's like just a barrier of information. I know how to add... Maybe I should just look up the character controller. Maybe there's more info on there. that's just a message. Don't care about any of that. Don't care about that. Don't care about that. Like, I could read all this, but, where's the, you got, like, 2 moves? That doesn't even make sense. What the fuck? How can you have 2 moves? They're not even in an if statement. There's, like, just 2 separate ones. You got velocity, and you got... What? That don't make any sense! What? You could just have 2 of those in a row? How does that even work? What? It just has 2 of them. Just there's no if statement or anything. There's an if statement in between it, but it's still being ran outside the ifs. That means these, irregardless of all those ifs, this is still being ran. Player velocity. Granted, this controller only gets data anytime player velocity gets data, but it's only applying it to the Y of the player in the controller. And my rotation would be the same effect. I'd only be applying it to the Y. It's not overriding anything the other controllers do. That's weird. So we'll just have this movement, because we know that works. I mean, shit. Damn it. Stop. Oh my god. So this movement times move speed. And we'll just have this player. Actually, we'll have the rotation. No, we'll have the movement go first. Just like because that's how it was on the documentation. It had the movement first and then the gravity second. Now, on the documentation, that was only the gravity, like falling, like the translation up and down. I'm not doing that. I'm doing rotation, so I don't know if this is gonna work. Rotation. Do I need times that delta time? I'll do it anyways. Damn it. Cannot convert float to unity vector 3. Okay, so it needs to be a vector. Alright. So we'll just have a new thing here. We'll just vector 3. Just raw rotation. Oops. We'll go back down. We'll change son of a bitch. Change this to vector 3. All I'm doing is just keeping the same number. I'm just changing it so it accepts the new data type, because the character controller only accepts vectors. It doesn't accept floats. Even if the float has the same value as a vector. So in order for that to work, you have to just swap it out. You have to make the vector equal the float, and then put in the vector. Vector 3, this, actually I already did that. So all I need is this rotation equal 0 raw rotation 0 let's do 3 raw rotation equal, and then this will be a float, and then there we go, problem solved. 0 0, and we'll just do dot y just to make, can I do that, or is that not acceptable? Yeah, because dot y is a float. Well, then how the hell did they do that in the documentation? That's just dot y. Let's get dot y. Their velocity. What is move? Oh, vector 3 move. So you can have zeros? That looks like you can have zeros, I guess. That's weird. Can I do null instead? No. I guess we'll just do 0. If that don't work, I might have to change this. You know what I can do? Actually, I could just this rotation dot y equal raw rotation. Bam, there we go. Got rid of the zeros. I don't know if that matters. I mean, it would be worth testing. I'm gonna test it. Let's see if it makes a difference, because that would be really important. Public bool test vector 0. I don't like using double caps. All right. If test 0, my headphone cord is in the way. Stop. Test 0 equal true. There's that. Else this. This rotation equal new 53. So the and since this is a declared variable, whatever an if change, like anytime a declared variable changes, even if it's inside of an if, which is like an isolated bubble, doesn't matter. It's a declared variable. So it goes all the way back to the top. If it was a local variable, it wouldn't. It would stay in the bubble. See if that works. Ow! So test 0, no. I just want to run it and see what happens, and then if it works, then we'll test 0. Okay, so it does turn. That's surprising. But does it move? Yes, it does. Point. It moves too much, personally. Does not move in the direction I want it. It does rotate though, so that's kind of neat. I know what the problem is, I think, because the XY is literally separate from the rotation. So I have to trick the XY movement into thinking that, so I have to take the XY, combine it with a rotation to trick it to make it think that that is a normal XY movement, I guess. Because it's acting like they're completely separate. They'll rotate, but it won't accept it as the direction for some reason. But that, while it didn't work, it did accept the code, it just didn't get the result I wanted. So I'll test 0 to see if that works, just to see if it accepted if the character controller accepted it the same way. If there's a difference, that's a problem, because that means the character controller read it differently. Yeah, that was different. I went up into the air for a second there. I don't know what that was all about. It's mostly the same. I'd say mostly the same. Ugh. Could do like a local canceller where the player eyes is on the player, and anytime if it would not be looking at the target, make it look at the target. So like anytime it's not the number it's supposed to be, it immediately resets, which might be a little less jankier than what I have now, since it would be at the same update speed as the player itself instead of a separate update speed. It's not a separate object at that point. This is a lot of math. So the tutorial was calculating the rotations manually, the difference of X and Y, whereas I'm not. I'm getting the rotation indirectly, which might make the math function not apply since I'm doing it differently. So I'll say the test 0 is a success. It doesn't matter. You can have zeros in the character controller. It doesn't seem to be too different, at least for now. Fucking shit, this is ridiculous. I don't even know why I'm doing this. I should just give up and go and move on and make my game. I did miss this part right here. Game object that transformed F4 and equal move. If move, well, I guess we'll put that in. Seems kind of interesting. Right underneath the move thing. I'll give it a shot. I don't know what if that does anything. We'll try it. So underneath the character controller. Wait, what is move? Does it mean the controller? Yeah. Well, oh no, the vector. So it would be this movement, I believe. If this movement is not 0, game object that transformed out forward equal its movement. So it's changing the forward transformation to, if it's not 0, change. I feel like it just does that by default. It's not making any sense to me, but we'll try it, see if that makes a difference. Also, there's a slight problem here. I'm like running 2 sets of rotation data. I think I got like double rotation on accident. Because I have test axis, which I think is rotating, which it shouldn't. Okay, it's not. Well, that's good. Nah, okay, I'm good. We're good. I think I'm good. Okay, well, still rotating. That's cool. I'm going to lower the speed again because that's too high. So, boop, 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 boop. Oh, I see. I know what that does. It just makes it face the direction of the. So when you press the button, it just faces the direction, regardless of your movement. It's kind of handy. Because that's just the facing, which is kind of important. I'd say kind of, because the camera already accomplishes that. If I'm just gonna copy it, but do one for the rotation. If this rotation equal vector is not vector 0, uh, oh, let's get rid of this. Put this rotation, because that makes the set of the face. I care more about the rotation setting the facing than I do the arrow keys. Which is the opposite of Dark Souls. Dark Souls, the arrow keys determine your facing, and the camera does not. Unless you're locked on, because then that's kind of like a gray area, because that's like because your camera's locked onto it, so you're always facing it. So you could argue that the camera and the rotation and the movement determines your facing. It gets a little muddy with lock on. Well, let's see if this does anything. So the transformed forward, I can change it. So that's cool. If I can get it to change through the rotations, that might fix the problem. Hey? I lose track of what I'm supposed to do next a lot. It's unusually smooth for some reason. I'm scared to move forward. I don't think this is working. Oh, it kind of is. Hey, look at that. So the XY input is static. It doesn't change. But the facing does. So that's a start. So like I'm literally facing the right way. So when I hit S, he tries to turn around, but the camera resets it to forward because I hit S. So I could get it to go in the right direction, and it will face the right direction, but the that rotation is making me sick. I need to like stop that. I'm gonna fix that. Before this stream is over, I gotta fix that. That vibration's getting me sick. I'm sick and tired of looking at it. So test axis. Eyes marked at position equal. Yeah, that makes sense. Transform that look at direction marker. I think there's a problem here that I didn't notice before. Because it's the player is looking at the transform marker. It's not supposed to. Something's fucked up here. Shit. Fucked up something. I got a problem right here. This is a problem. Because I was moving it over, I confused myself and I messed something up. So I need to look up the look at function. So yeah, I want the eyes. No, I want the player to look at the target. So hang on, now I'm confusing myself again. So the eyes has the player's position. I feel like this is redundant here. It's like this part of the code ain't doing this. Let's just delete that. Just to see what happens. So a lot of this is just grasping what this is going to look like. Because the text can explain it in detail, and that doesn't mean it's going to visualize it. You got to be a good writer to put that on paper. Oh my god, you bitch. Stop being an asshole. Stop it. Do I have to select that first? Yeah. So we're just going to have the player not look at anything. So that did not do nothing. Yeah, I have some redundancy here. Like, I don't even need the eyes. It just because I could just type in the player's Y instead if I wanted to. Uh, I could just make it slower. The eyes is a separate object, though. So actually, this is kind of helpful. I just think I need to add one more thing. Um, eyes marker, because I didn't take into account the rotation of the eyes marker. I forgot the rotation. Um, so I don't need this to look at. Since the eyes marker is already doing it, I could just have the player rotate. So we can get rid of this. Save that, and then go in the combiner. Where should I put the rotate, though? Can't vector. Why? So, transform rotate rotation. We'll try that. I don't think this is going to do anything important. It might even be worse. I probably just messed it all up. Yep. That is gutter failure. Ah. All right. Well, that's 2 hours. I am mentally exhausted now. Close that out. And I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here. Bye.